Hey guys, welcome to our Magic Night. This is David versus Taylor using a mono green deck versus a Rakdos black-red deck. David opens the game playing Wild Growth. It's an enchantment that causes your land to give you one additional green mana. The downside of Wild Growth is that this mana could be destroyed and it would be like losing 2 mana. Taylor plays a Swamp. David plays a Forest and then plays Leatherback Baloth. It is a 4/5 with no abilities. It is so cheap because it costs 3 green mana, but if you're using a mono green deck, it'll be really easy to summon. Taylor's deciding what to play. He plays another mana, possibly mana screwed. Rakdos is generally black-red, and he only has black mana on board right now. Current life total is 20 to 20. Taylor plays Crippling Blight. It's an enchant creature that gives a creature -1/-1, and it can no longer block. So that Rampaging Baloth can only attack, and it is now a 3/4. David swings with the Baloth. Life totals now are 20 to 17. You never know when your opponent's mana screwed, but you always feel bad, for the other person. Because you're just wondering, why are they not playing anything? Are they holding on to something, or is this just not an even matchup? So Taylor finally plays a red mana. It looks like things might be going well, but mono green decks generally ramp up really fast. And this deck that David's using is filled with Phyto Burst and a bunch of buffs. So Taylor plays an Ashenmoor Gouger. It's a 4/4 for 3 mana. You can play red or black for it, but the downside is that Ashenmoor Gouger cannot block. It's one of the newer cards, so you guys should be familiar with it. A lot of the cards that we are playing with, though, are pretty... Okay. David plays Ace-IO, a samurai from the Kamigawa set. It's a 2/1 with Bushido 2, so whenever it attacks or blocks, it becomes a 4/3. It costs 3 mana, and decides not to attack. So this game's difficult because both players are trying to work with only 3 mana on board, and it's really hard when you are trying to form a strategy because you don't know if you want to save cards for combos or just use things now to make it through the game. So Taylor plays Blightning. It's a card for 3 mana that costs the Rakdos combo. It causes you the enemy to discard 2 cards and take 3 damage. So David discards a Mythic Rare that's a 4/4. It's Thrun, the Last Troll, if you've heard of it. And he discards a card called Keen Sense that lets him draw cards if a creature does damage to Taylor. So, pretty tough decisions here. It looks like David's going to play a Worm's Tooth. It's an artifact that costs 2, and every time you play a green spell, you gain 1 life. Looks like David's going to double swing. The Ashenmoor Gouger cannot block, so Taylor takes 7 damage. The current life total is 17 to 10. It's a hard life. Like I said, both players are trying to work with really low mana, and it makes it hard to make the right decision. Both players are holding on to cards they can combo together right now. Looks like Taylor is going to play a Shriekmaw. It's a creature that costs 5, but you can play it for its evoke cost for only 2 mana. When it comes into play, it destroys a non-black creature, but then you have to sacrifice it. Taylor essentially uses it as a Doomblade to get rid of the Ace-IO Samurai that's a 4/3 whenever it attacks or blocks. Okay, so David gets to 4 mana, plays a Nourish. Nourish is a spell that costs 2 green mana that gives you 6 life. And because of the Worm's Tooth, he's going to go all the way up to 20, and then he plays Voracious Worm. And Voracious Worm is a 2/2 for 2, and it gets +1/+1 counters equal to the amount of life that you gain this turn. So that Worm is coming to play with 7 +1/+1 counters as a 9/9. David swings with the 3/4 Baloth. Taylor's tapped out, so he can't block. Taylor concedes. David has lethal on board. So this game, both players were kind of mana screwed, and we kind of see that Magic is just a game of draws. Taylor didn't really have the mana to play the cards that he wanted, and David was able to pull off a combo with really low mana.